too, Sarah, about when you have clients come to you that they want to do something, but maybe they're not ready to do something yet. So that would be the next question, is when would be an appropriate point? Like if you're on a product development cycle, when would be a great time to jump into doing a marketing campaign or put some marketing strategy together?
And we get asked a lot about blogging specifically, and I'll just take that one. That if your brand doesn't map to blogging, if your company's not, or your organization is not able to be or not willing to be transparent, I'd say don't blog. If you are, if you don't have the time or the resources to devote to making the blog active and to make sure that it is something that you're able to update frequently, people are not going to come back if they've gone back 3 or 4 times and it's still the very initial, the first entry. And then just with other kinds of campaigns, some of that also applies. Is your company ready for, are the spokespeople, is the CEO or the lead marketing person bought into the idea of communications? Do they have the time and the resources to actually devote to an external campaign? They may be still dealing with rounds of funding, so there might not be, that might not be the right time to do a full-fledged campaign or marketing push. You may need to do some seeding with some media and analysts, but not a full-fledged campaign.
And I don't know, I mean, this may be such a luxury, but I believe emphatically if you have it at the very beginning, day 0, day 1, and I used to work at 3M before Motive, so I worked also in very large companies, and you'd form project teams and so forth, but usually, kind of marketing plans like, oh, well, that's, month number 5 of the plan, whereas if I contrast that with Spiceworks, before we even incorporated, the 4 co-founders, we're driving around Austin, meeting, knocking on doors, hey, can we meet with your IT guy? And they kind of walk you back, in the closet, there's Joe, and you hang out with him for an hour, seeing him, talking, what does the office look like, what's he wearing, what's he thinking, already, within the first visit, you're already going like, oh my God, he said hate 10 times, and he never said love, and he plays Doom, and just already, and it's like, green hair, and you could start already to visualize, and then you go to the next one, and he's like, the 45-year-old IT guy, and he's wearing a golf shirt, and so, you start picturing them, and so already you're thinking about the message, and then, okay, how, and you're asking questions, how do you learn about products? What sites do you read? Just the data you gather there. I mean, we were probably a week into it, and already, the mind's spinning. And then when we did the teaser site, I mean, we had started to develop the voice and all that, and that was our first teaser site we put up was Something Wicked This Way Comes. And people were signing up, and that's how we built our alpha request list. And that just, and then it's still on our website. It talks about the revolution, and there was a bunch of that we, did from the beginning. And I think it would have been. And I admit even now it's hard for a person doing marketing for me, and now she comes up with ideas, and it's the classic, well, I don't know about that, and it's like, oh God, here's the inertia, I can, I'm guilty, I'm creating it, and so it's just, anything you can do to, depending on what your luxury is, if you can build that in from the very beginning. And in our business model on the same spreadsheet, it went right from user acquisition all the way down to revenue and monetization, and I owned that spreadsheet. And kind of sat in there for a month, so it was, one person owned the whole, how much does it cost, how much do we make, the whole model. So you may not have the luxury everywhere, but the more you can push those to be further up front, there's some huge dividends down the road in my belief.
Yeah, I just say, at beta, I mean, sell what you have, sell what you're going to have, sell the vision, sell the FUD factor, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt of not having what you have. Start to get the message out there, because it can just be built upon, and there's no reason that by the time someone reads the message, goes through the sales cycle, you'll probably have what you just messaged out. So be more aggressive.
Yeah, I think it is on the front end of a launch or a release. When you're going through your whole go-to-market strategy, is you have that moment where you're absolutely going to open the kimono. You're absolutely going to just shoot fireworks off and say it's here. There's a way to build suspense and inquiry, and to get that momentum rolling before that happens. And that's different than your traditional direct response or impressions based, let's bring people in and just show them our white papers. It's building a little dialogue with them on the front end of it, and throwing enough bait out there where you're not giving it all away on the front end, but you're creating suspense, and you'll know it. And again, you have things go wrong in beta. You have with a client or two, the chip tapes out and it's got a bug in it. I mean, it happens. But there are ways, absolutely, to keep that dialogue going, and when the moment is right, you have that foundation and that base to build on.
Kind of comes back to what Jay said earlier, I think, about testing and experimenting. And the sooner you start that process, basically, the sooner you're going to get results back that you can then say, this is working, now let's blow it out.